When we're down the fart jokes, we are officially run out of news, Mike.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Thor is going to RagnaROCK our world.
Oh, Chris. Silver tongue you.
I've been saving that one up all week. The Kingsmen get American versions for the Golden Circle.
Okay.
All right. I watched Kingsmen this week. It's good. The Jedi are coming to an end, Mike.
Ooh, buddy.
Gotta let them go. And more.
And more. Wow. So when we were before we hopped on these mics to start recording, we started compiling our notes, making sure we didn't miss anything. We realized so many trailers came out this week. Like, obviously, we're going to talk about the big two here at the top of the show. But then there was like three other like sneaky trailers that are in these notes. So, man, so many trailers to talk about this week, and there are always plenty of things to talk about there.
That's right. Speaking of trailers, it's Easter Sunday, Mike, and I went to visit my family today, and we drove past a lot of trailers on the way there. But that's where I was coming. But also today, I just want to give my first shout out of the show to my Uncle Dink, who I did not know listens to the show and listens to the podcast.
Uncle Dink.
So thank you for listening. If you're listening now, thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. It touches my heart, tugs on them heartstrings. So it's glad to know that the people you don't know who listen are listening. So that felt good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, we love that.
We do love it. Also, want to give everyone a heads up. I can't figure out why my smoke alarm's going off. So if you hear a little chirping that we can't edit out, it's that going off every couple seconds. We've replaced the batteries. It's taken off the ceiling. Like, it's short of cutting cords and like finding if it's accessible via breakers. I don't know what to do. So.
You know what? I just like to paint a picture in my head that you live in a picturesque landscape and you have the windows open and you just have like delightful little birds coming through and every once in a while they chirp. So I think maybe if we paint that picture for our listeners, maybe it won't be so much of an annoyance if they hear a smoke alarm every once in a while. So just imagining a cute little bird and just swirling around Chris, perching on his shoulder, enjoying the news as well.
Yeah. A little bird told me about all this news today, Mike. How about we paint that picture? I've got another shout out, but first, Mike, do you have anything going on? Anything good you want to share?
Man, all I was going to say is when we do this show, we kind of save up all of our opinions and a lot of our conversations until Sunday. So we got some big old stuff to talk about this week. So I'm ready to roll into it once you get this other shout out of the way.
So the first shout out is directly related to our first topic. I want to give a shout to superfan Jim. And because I went on the hunt for a pop vinyl this week that came out at GameStop only, and no matter what I do, the system's always against me because every GameStop I walked into, they were like, "Yes, we have this pop, but we are holding it for other customers."
Oh, bastards!
Well, I'm like, well, I'm here right now. I will buy this from you. Like, why are you holding it for people who just happen to call in when you're opening up people who are here? Steamed broccoli aside, so I was looking for this pop. It's a pop vinyl released in order of Star Wars Celebration.
Wow, cool.
And it is Luke Skywalker hooded with his green lightsaber from the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
So that has a special place to me. The green lightsaber. Growing up, I remember having one and that character. So he was able to find one in his GameStop several states away, ship it up, and mail it to me.
Damn, nice one,
so,
Jim.
Yeah, real big shout out for that. And he also wrote on the box, "It doesn't offend me." So if anyone in the mail system is now listening to our show because you saw these notes, thank you for what you do, and thanks again to Superfan Jim for getting that for me and mailing it my way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On here.
It's a nerd love community out there. I love that.
Yeah, very, very much obliged. But because it came out, that means it was Star Wars Celebration this week in Orlando.
And what did we get? What did we get, Chris?
Well, I think I believe there might have been some footage, maybe a trailer.
Woo! Star Wars! It's back, baby. It's back in full effect.
The battle cry is back. We got it Friday, I believe, around noon my time Eastern. I'm sitting there watching the live feed, watching it live, and they're even messing with people. They're like, we got some footage, and it's the poster, the new poster that came out, and it's actually a cool looking poster. They're really diving into the red theme on this movie, between the logo and everything. But then they were like, you know what? We know what you're here for. We got a trailer. Of course there's a trailer. So they showed us, the director Rian Johnson gave us the trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi, Mike, and we've not talked about this.
No, we haven't.
We have not talked about this. What were your feelings watching this trailer?
Well, feelings, I think, is the best way to describe the trailer, because Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and this has been some of the best teaser trailers I think I've ever seen, because they just really hold true to what teaser really means, where they're not giving you really any big plot points. They're just kind of giving you pretty vistas, just awesome cinematography, usually some very kind of cryptic narration, and then you just get to enjoy the feeling that you get. And I was just happy the whole time. And I think the biggest reason why I'm happy is because it's awesome to see these characters again. That's what The Force Awakens did so well. Whether you want to criticize it, yes or no, because they basically retreaded on A New Hope with what they did with basically a Death Star again. But they made awesome characters, and that's what you always want to see in storytelling. You just want to see characters that you just want to hang out with. And like one of the first things you see in this teaser trailer is you see Rey like just down on the ground, just like panting because she's like training with Luke, assuming, and that's just awesome because we loved Rey. We get to see Finn in some sort of chamber. I think that's the only time we get to see him. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's some sort of maybe like sneaky way they're sneaking him into some place, or maybe he's legitimately hurt. I don't know. We get to see like Poe running down a hallway with the BB-8 on his side. We get to see I think maybe just the back of Leia. I don't know if they showed the front of her or not. Obviously we get some shrouded bits of Luke as well. We get to see a little bit of Kylo Ren's face behind that awesome cross saber. I mean, it's just awesome, beautiful shots. I loved seeing the characters, and it's just, I mean, the first thing that I compare it to instantly in my mind is Rogue One, because it's the last Star Wars movie that we saw. And even though effectively that was a film that was made well, we didn't really get to fall in love with any of the characters. Not only did they all die, but the only ones that I think people really I think the only ones people really connected to was probably K2SO. So it's awesome just kind of being back into our I guess you can't even say original Star Wars world anymore. I guess canon Star Wars, or just normal Star Wars line.
The main story.
Yeah, really, the main story. So it's just it's nice being back in there again, man.
Yeah, it was very good. I mean, it plays on a lot of, again, Empire Strikes Back, a big comparison, because Luke spent his training in Empire Strikes Back with Yoda, and Yoda being the calm level one. So I'm interested to see Luke being the trainer for Rey, because we've never really seen him train anybody. Mm-hmm. A couple things, it looks like we also get to see the fall of his like original like little group of people, because I think there's a scene where like it's from the flashback in the first one where he's with R2-D2 and everything's in fire, and then the First Order is coming through to get him. A couple other things, we get to see the looks like Rebel speeders. One of them's kind of wonky on this big desert planet with like red dust being kicked up.
Yeah, they seem to be some walkers. Sort of like crop duster or something like that.
Well, it's actually skimming the ground, and the ground is kicking up red minerals.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, so it's the planet's called Crait, which actually relates to someone I think from Rogue One. I don't really remember, another movie. There's if you go on Reddit, you're going to find out a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the Crait planet, he did confirm that it's a mineral planet where there used to be an old rebel base and it's now been abandoned. We don't know how it plays in there, but there are big walkers in the distance. And I believe they are not AT-ATs, but larger versions of those.
Oh, damn.
from the First Order.
Well, I mean, larger Death Star in the last movie, so we got to get larger walkers now.
Got to get bigger. Another funny thing I thought was you're talking about the scene with Finn. Someone actually went to and translated that from the known Star Wars languages, and most of it looks like someone just mashed on a keyboard, and none of it makes any sense at all, except there's one word that says stable. So I think this is picking up from the end of The Force Awakens, where he got sliced up in the back by Kylo's lightsaber.
Yeah, that could be it.
And I think we see space battles. There's some ships flying around at the end. Luke is very ominous with his statement there.
I think that's the
Jedi has to end.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing to talk about out of this whole trailer, because that's kind of the little bit of plot that we get, and I really love it because you can't really know for sure what he's saying. So is he saying he just foresees this happening no matter what? Like, oh, no matter what we do, the Jedi are going to end. We're just going to have to do our best while we're still here? Or does he think himself, like, no, the Jedi are not as great as we think they are. We can't just be walking around this galaxy like we own it and, like, we're like the police of the galaxy. I kind of like that idea of that, like, Luke has, been a Jedi for so long now. He has seen so much of the ups and downs, and he's, like, been in the rebellion, and he's seen, like, the dark side and the light side. He's just been so personally attached to everything the Force. It makes me think that now he's just, like, he's not only is he one of the last Jedi, but he's one of the smartest Jedi out there. He's met, like, basically all the Jedi Masters, I feel like, when he was alive. So I think it's really, really cool that maybe now he has this whole new perspective on everything that he's going to lay out for Rey, and maybe if he gets to see Kylo again, I don't know. Maybe that's why Kylo went rogue. Maybe Luke had kind of these kind of drastic ideas of what he thought the Jedi were, and maybe Kylo didn't like that idea or something like that. But maybe he thinks, I guess, I don't know, do you call these characters in the Star Wars universe humans? I guess maybe he thinks humans just shouldn't be wielding the Force or something. I don't know. I just really like this dynamic because it sounds like it could be very new. We haven't seen this in the movies yet. So, and like I've said basically now for the last year and a half now, what I'm hoping we get out of The Last Jedi is just something different, because there is lots of, like, arguments on yes or no, whether they should have just retreaded with The Force Awakens, to get new audience, bring people back in, whatever. It's fine. It's in the past, and I love the movie. So now let's move on and do something new. So, and from what I see, it looks like there's lots of really awesome stuff that's coming in this movie.
Yeah, so my hope is that they, again, don't retread and The Empire Strikes Back. The walkers are one thing that kind of make me worry. Someone in a pod who's not necessarily dead or alive, kind of like the end of Empire when Han Solo is taken away in his little carbonite state. And hopefully the big hang up at the end is not who Rey's parents are. That would be kind of it. But I tell you what, we didn't see Hux and we didn't see Snoke in this teaser. Again, this is just a teaser. So I've got a lot of questions. I want to know more. I want to see this movie so bad, Mike. Why do we have to wait 8 months? But I think Luke is more, he's been out here by himself, that we saw the Jedi Order symbol. That's the symbol that someone was touching in one of those books. The symbol of the Jedi Order. Maybe, to me, it's like, it's not light side, dark side, and it's not so drastic. There might be gray areas of the Force. Yeah. And he's come to realize that, like, you can't be Jedi and you can't just be Sith because there's more layers to this than previously thought. And
that sounds awesome. So I think at the end of the day, I'm just excited to see these characters again, just because they're so much fun to hang out with and be around. And also, I really like seeing all of the actors' social media profiles from Star Wars Celebration, because we're going to talk a little bit more about Celebration here in just a second, but it was really awesome seeing John Boyega do, like, a floor walk at Star Wars Celebration. He was, like, walking around giving people high fives and stuff. He was kneeling down and hugging somebody's, like, BB-8 that they had out there. And then, like, Mark Hamill has been, like, all over everything. So he's been doing, like, meetups and stuff like that. I saw that he wrote a sign for people that he was meeting saying he lost his voice, so he was just, like, kind of miming things with people. So Mark Hamill just looks like he's so much fun to be around. I've heard him, like, in interviews and stuff on other podcasts, and he's just a nerd just like the rest of us. He's like he loves, like, collecting really nerdy stuff. Obviously he's he's in some of the awesomest, nerdiest stuff out there on the planet. So I love that we still have Mark Hamill in our Star Wars universe, and he wasn't killed off in Force Awakens.
Yeah. So I watched the thing live and seen Mark Hamill on stage. He's just so passionate about it, and he just cares so much about the universe itself and the fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just fun. And again, to imagine him doing his voice acting stuff, he's so versatile. And though he may not look he didn't age nearly as well as maybe Harrison Ford did from the first movies. I still think he's a guy I would want to hang out with more than Harrison Ford, simply because of like the energy.
He's just not a grumpy old man.
Yeah. So, sorry, Superfan Jim. I know I gave you a shout earlier, but we're not as big on Harrison Ford as you might be right now.
Yeah, and trust me, it's not like we're ever gonna have a scenario where they're both standing in front of us and be like, "Sorry, Harrison, go on." Like, of course, we can all go get coffee together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you want to drink coffee, we just won't ride in a plane with you. That's all. Please
there's another reason you probably don't want to ride in a plane.
This is true. That's true. So we got the Last Jedi trailer. It was awesome. Star Wars Celebration went on. I've watched a lot of it, Mike. At one point, they brought George Lucas on stage. He was being interviewed. The panel moderator was Warwick Davis, who is known for playing.
Awesome! I love Warwick Davis. Yeah.
Ewoks. They had Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, up there. They had Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian on stage. These are all at the same time. I cannot believe I remember the guy who plays Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
They brought out Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford. All of these actors on the stage at the same time.
That's amazing.
With George Lucas. And again, people give Lucas hell for his more modern stuff, but he did create this universe that we all love and are passionate about.
Exactly. The biggest problem with Lucas is he just needed a team, and then his franchise just got way too big, and people just trusted him way too much. Like, when creating movies and worlds is a big team effort. You need a lot of people throwing around ideas, and I think people maybe just got too intimidated with him after a while. But either way, I still love the guy. I mean, come on, he donated his $4 billion for his franchise to charity. I mean, you can't hate that guy even if he just made some bad movies.
Yeah, exactly. And he did do a lot for the expanded universe and building the characters beyond just their movies, like guiding that and. Some of the TV shows we'll talk about later, he kind of guided and helped out. So that's awesome. However, sadly, they were not able to bring Carrie Fisher to the celebration because of her passing in December. They did play a really good tribute to her, though, for this.
I heard it was really touching.
It was a very touching tribute, and they had the guy who does the music. I'm blanking on his name.
John Williams.
John Williams. I want to say Anthony Williams, wasn't it? But he was out. He was actually, they had him conducting Leia's theme and other Star Wars stuff there during it. It was really touching. But per Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm now, she says that Carrie Fisher will not be in Star Wars Episode 9 anymore. And the last report was from her brother, who may have been confused or had older information. So. We will have to go out knowing that Episode 8 will be the last Star Wars film with Carrie Fisher.
I just, she didn't seem to be a huge integral part to Episode 7. It almost seemed like she had more of a sub role, so hopefully a lot of the plot of the movie doesn't hinge on her character, but it seems like if they could take her out of that last movie, maybe it wasn't too much of a big deal. But I'm just glad that we kind of get this last movie with her at all. It's awesome that I guess she was around long enough to see the kind of the rebirth of these Star Wars movies. So I think we're just lucky that we got these Star Wars movies just at the time we did, because for some reason maybe Lucas or Disney just approached this deal a couple years later. We wouldn't have even had this opportunity. So I think any Carrie Fisher we get is better than none.
Yep. And she did finish all of her stuff for 8, so it's not like they have to rearrange her or do anything to make it work. So so that's good. Star Wars Rebels, Mike, have you watched this show yet at all?
I've seen clips of it. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole episode, but I've been linked to different clips and scenes, so I'm familiar with the quality, and it seems to be pretty high quality for a TV show.
Yeah, so Star Wars, I believe the Clone Wars animated show ran for 6 or 7 seasons. It was a great show. Love the show. Starts off very kid-oriented, gets really dark and adult by the end. It's great to see the characters evolve. Introduced a new character, Ahsoka, we'll talk about here in a minute. Rebels is essentially the sequel to that. It picks up between episodes 3 and 4, and some of the characters are actually in Rogue One. Their ship is so that's cool. But season 4, this upcoming season of Rebels, will be the last season. They said. I think it's natural. They plan it out. They have the whole season to do it. They're not cut off at the end, kind of like that. So that'll be interesting to see where that ends up, and maybe what the next project is. I like the Star Wars animated stuff. They really put a lot of time and effort and quality into it. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. So anyone who likes Rebels, season 4 will be the last, so you can catch up on that pretty soon. Another series they announced there is called Star Wars Forces of Destiny. And despite the fact that it sounds like some sort of video game property, it's a bunch of animated shorts and merchandise focused on female characters in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I was kind of just looking through these, and the art kind of looks similar to when we had the 2D Clone Wars cartoons back in the day from Gengi Tartakovsky. It's slightly different art style, but you're kind of getting that same type of 2D nature. So it looks like these might be kind of lower budget, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be like prime time, I guess, shows.
Yeah, I think these might be maybe on Disney XD kind of thing. Disney's YouTube channel sounds here. But they have Mickey Mouse shorts on Disney XD. They're 10 minutes long or something like that, and about this animation quality. So I figured this is probably where it's at. But you can see here they have Rey, Leia, Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, and Jyn Erso from Rogue One. So, and then below that you see some of the figures they're doing there, and that includes Sabine from Star Wars Rebels, one of the characters. So they promise they push stuff for girls who like Star Wars, and they're really doing it. They're going all in on this. So.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be extra prepared now for, I guess, this next run of toys, because we heard that there was a shortage of Rey figures when the last movie came out. So I don't know if they just understated her popularity, but I think they're going to be ready to go for these female action figures, which is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it is a series that's always had a strong female protagonist in it, so got to roll with that and be with the times. Lastly, the newest thing that came out yesterday was the Star Wars Battlefront II, the trailer for the new game.
Yes, tell me about this, because I never got around to playing. I guess Battlefront 1. I guess is what I guess it would have.
It's just Battlefront, yeah, just Battlefront. So you may remember the Battlefront games from old. 10 plus years ago, they came out, I think, on PlayStation 2, and huge popularity, great games to play. They relaunched them with EA and I believe DICE in 2 years ago, so right before The Force Awakens came out. And it was an okay game, very multiplayer, very kind of, people didn't like it because it had no single player, it was all multiplayer.
Yeah, I heard people thought the game was a little light for a full $60 game.
It is. It's very hard to get into. I've played it briefly. I just bought the season pass this weekend because it was on sale now. But the stuff they added, right now, it would be a great $60 game if it came out now with everything it came out with. However, EA and DICE, they had a chance with this property. They made it looks good. It sounds great, but it wasn't fully featured. So this new one's coming out, Battlefront 2. It has a full single player campaign where you follow
awesome.
A person. She is a leader in the Imperial Army. You're not playing the good guys for once in a campaign, which I thought was a very great take on Star Wars, because you always play the good guys usually. And so you follow this. She starts there. She sees the blow up of the Death Star at the end of Return of the Jedi, and you follow her all the way up to meeting the Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, Luke, and all them. So over 30 years.
That sounds rad.
So, her campaign takes place across 30 years of Star Wars stuff as they kind of went into hiding.
I love that.
It's going to be great. So, multiplayer's kicked it up a notch. They've added historical characters, historical battles. So, you get to play as Darth Maul and Yoda this time in multiplayer when you get characters.
Wow, sick. I love that.
You get the new characters coming up in The Last Jedi, such as older Luke and Rey and stuff like that. So you got all these years of stuff to pull from and add in there. You can customize how your characters and your starfighters look. I think it's going to come and land with the lessons learned from the first one, and really give us a good shot. It comes out this November, and I, as a Star Wars fan, I will support this because I want more Star Wars video games. So
yeah, I mean, it sounds rad, man. It sounds like it's fully featured,
Yeah, it does. It sounds like they listened. They gave us a single player campaign. There's split screen on this one, Mike. You can play split screen with a friend. So
Nice.
if you want to not buy an Xbox and head over to friend of the show Quentin Parker's and play with me, we can hop on and shoot some Rebel scum or
Last I heard, he was trying to buy a Switch, so I don't know if this is coming out on Switch or not.
Oh no, Quentin, stop it, Quentin.
No, I wanted to buy one because I'm probably not going around and buying it, so I can just use his.
I'd say you could buy one of those Nintendo retro consoles, but they've already discontinued those after they sold all 10 of them. So that's a topic for a different day. But yeah, so Battlefront 2 coming out this November. Really excited. We'll definitely keep. I hope an open beta comes out soon, so I'll be playing that.
Yeah.
But now it's time to head to the other side of the galaxy, Mike. Another galaxy far, far away. In a trailer we got on Monday with Thor Ragnarok.
Oh man, I am so excited.
I have no words to describe how awesome it was to predict this trailer to begin with. Because I said last week we're getting a trailer this week.
Yeah.
And then B, this trailer blew me away. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this week. It is so energetic and good and builds up to the right moments. And again, it's a teaser. As Mike said earlier, it doesn't give anything away. Mike, lay it on me. Thor Ragnarok. Did it rock your world?
Oh my gosh, it did so much. I think honestly, a lot of the enjoyment of the trailer comes from the selection of the music, but I don't think that's necessarily a hit on it. I think they just picked an awesome soundtrack to go with this teaser trailer. And I think this is another awesome teaser trailer. It's not as subtle as the Star Wars one was, but this is everything that they wanted, because I think they knew that, like, okay, I think the last two Thor movies get slagged on a little bit compared to all the other Marvel movies out there. So we're just going to show them that we are here to freaking play. So we got like awesome footage of Hela. Like the first time we see her go full out. Not only does she go full out, she freaking destroys Mjolnir like right at the beginning of the trailer. I mean, that's crazy. I thought that was going to be kind of a seminal moment that we would build up to in the movie, and it looks like that's going to happen right at the beginning, and she just blows it up, and then the trailer just like kicks into 11 like for the whole time. So it's just a roller coaster ride watching this trailer. It's so much fun. You know, we get to see all of these awesome things happen. Like, everything goes by so fast. I'm trying just to think of all the things. Like, they have that moment where all this kind of, like, fire and smoke fills Asgard and stuff like that. Yeah. You get to see, like, Loki throwing some daggers around and everything.
Let's not forget your favorite part with Jeff Goldblum and Loki on a very, very long couch.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an awesome shot. You get to see them on this long couch looking down at, like, the stadium. You know, there's just so much room separating the two of them. So it doesn't look like they're necessarily palling around. So maybe Loki's kind of half been dragged there, or maybe he just kind of wants to observe, doesn't really want to get inside of Jeff Goldblum's circle. But I mean, all the awesome characters around that couch also look really cool too.
Let me lay a thought on you on this. So this trailer leads to one. So to me, Star Wars is a great trailer, but Star Wars does not have a lot to prove after the success of the last two movies.
Yes,
Thor has a lot to prove to a lot of people. And if this one falls flat, then, you know, that's probably it for Thor movies, to be honest. And maybe Marvel delving into that.
Well, to be fair, this might be the last Thor movie, because it's kind of the rule of threes with these characters so far.
Right, well, exactly. But they may not be able to be like, hey, let's step into, like, you know, Norse mythology again, or any of these characters. But at the end of this trailer delivers the Hulk versus Thor. And... And my thoughts is that if Jeff Goldblum and Loki are there, who was the only person to ever kick Loki's ass other than Thor? Mm-hmm. The Hulk in the end of Avengers. So if maybe he has brought the Hulk there to fight Thor, to keep Thor, defeated.
Maybe. I mean, the great thing about Loki, since he's the best villain in the Marvel Universe, is he always has all of these different plans going on. So even though if we think, you know, Loki wants to, like, kill Thor, like, but does he really? You know, it's his brother. You know, he kind of hates him, but he also kind of likes to keep him around. So, but I mean, we're just burying the lead at this point. The best moment of the trailer is when Thor looks up at him and he goes, "Yes!" Because, like, you just don't know what's going to happen, because you think he's going to be surprised and shocked and scared because he has to fight the Hulk. But no, it's totally the opposite. He's super psyched to see Hulk, and he's just like, I know him. He's a friend from work. I mean, I lost it when I saw that part. I was already sold on this trailer. I mean, the Led Zeppelin song just carrying us through all these awesome moments, and then we get to see that. Like, it's just classic Marvel humor that we love in these movies, next to all this awesome action. And I think it's the best trailer, I think, of anything we're gonna get all year. So if
that's a bold claim.
No, it's going to be hard to beat this trailer. Now, I would say, teaser trailers are the best trailers right now, I guess, in the iteration that they are, just because it's the first trailer you get, and it's not really just a logo reveal anymore, which is kind of what teaser trailers used to be a long time ago, just kind of maybe some narration with like a logo fading out from black or whatever. So now we get these teaser trailers just here to entice us. So I think they're awesome now. They're at this perfect moment where we just get exactly what we need. In a perfect world, if I wasn't doing a podcast, I would probably only watch the teaser trailers and not watch any of the other ones. But since we like to talk about these on the show, I'll go ahead and watch them. But I'm still looking out for I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. But it's just an awesome trailer. I just can't imagine getting any more hyped off of any other trailer out there, and that's exactly what these things are supposed to do. They're just supposed to get you so fucking stoked. That's exactly what this trailer did. So, I mean, I challenge any studio out there to cut a better trailer than this this year.
Well, I think they're going to try to, Mike, but they're probably going to fall short because this trailer rocks. And a lot of people have said, oh, well, this is like Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. And to them, I say nay. Nay, people. Because Led Zeppelin may be 80s rock, kind of like Guardians is, but Guardians of the Galaxy is very pop rock. They're very glamoury, and like this is the radio hits. Led Zeppelin has songs about Lord of the Rings and Mordor and Gollum. And, you listen to you play Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s while listening to Zeppelin. Like, it's not radio rock. So for this, have Zeppelin in this builds that hype that much better. And by the time the energy gets to the end, you're like, okay, who's he gonna fight? And then he's like, yeah. You're like, you're cheering with Thor. Yeah. You're like, yeah. And plus Zeppelin also has always leaned into kind of like these Celtic fonts and icons and stuff like that, and they always have some trippy album covers, and I think that just fits with the whole Asgardian type of stuff really, really well. And they just picked an awesome song. And I say to those people who think it is kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, I say, who cares? That movie was awesome. Why wouldn't you want to put Guardians of the Galaxy vibe into your Thor movie? I mean, I'm so psyched. We talked about how psyched we were for this movie before we even seen any footage, any images. We heard Hulk and Thor in a movie, and we were sold. When we heard Jeff Goldblum was coming to the party, we were double sold. When we heard Hell was going to be in the movie, Cate Blanchett, we were triple sold. We're just doubling down. We just keep splitting our eights and playing blackjack. We are so excited for this movie. And it's going to be an amazing end of the year. I mean, we're getting some amazing movies at the tail end of this year. And I know this is going to get a little off track, but I was thinking today, the lines of summer blockbusters have just totally blurred out now. We have movies coming out in October, when summer has ended in that weird time. We have these big budget awesome action movies coming out in March and April and February sometimes. It doesn't even matter anymore. The summer basically just exists now for maybe a Fast and the Furious movie here or there, which that just came out, and it's April, and is April even summer yet? So we are just getting these awesome just crazy movies all throughout the year. So it's just really nuts. It's this wealth of just eye candy. Of course, some of these movies are not going to be good, and we're going to talk about maybe one of those at the end of the show. But man, talk about a time to be alive. There are a lot of choices. We have a lot of choices. Any month you could walk in and pick a movie and probably be very satisfied. This weekend you could go watch Fate of the Furious and probably have a great time. So I think that's a good thing. A couple things about this thing I want to talk about. You mentioned Cate Blanchett as Hela. In every iteration she's in this movie, whether she has the big spiky helmet on or her Hot Topic style makeup, it doesn't matter. She steals that fucking scene. She looks menacing. She looks dark. She crushes a hammer with her hands, man. Which I thought was very interesting. And also on planet Earth, if you look at where she was in an alleyway on Earth, which made me also realize the end scene on Doctor Strange where Thor goes to Doctor Strange, he has his long hair that he has at the beginning of the movie, not at the end.
Yeah, maybe maybe just off screen, maybe Hela just bitch slap Doctor Strange and he's just laying by a dumpster, just unconscious.
And the beginning scene, I believe, with all the fire and stuff, is the realm of Muspelheim, which is the fire demon Surtur's realm. I have some other theories and stuff. I'm not going to go into them, but I was just having a blast with this. We also get to see the fall of the Valkyries whenever it looks like they're fighting Hela at maybe an earlier point in history as well, which the main actress Tessa Thompson from Westworld, she plays a Valkyrie from that realm. So definitely interesting to see all this stuff when it comes out this November. Mike, we got Thor Ragnarok, Justice League, and Star Wars within 2 months of each other.
Oh man.
And I know we're gonna start saving money for those now, Mike. We're gonna get there. But that's it for Thor Ragnarok. You got anything else you want to add to that? I mean, just we're having a great week. We're having a great week.
The hype's out of control. I can't say which movie is going to be better, Star Wars or Thor, but Thor wins the teaser trailer. I mean, 2 teaser trailers coming out of, I guess, basically Disney in 1 week. I think Thor takes the cake for this one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you think Thor beats Star Wars this week?
Yes, in the teaser trailer land, I was just more excited. I think people could maybe break down like cinematography and like like meanings and subtext and stuff like that. But it's a teaser trailer. I just want to have fun. So
I agree. I think I'm also gonna lean on Thor Ragnarok because of what I said earlier. Thor has more to prove than Star Wars does at this point. Star Wars was very competent, but Thor has a lot to give us. So I'm really into that. I want to hear you guys. Let us know which one your favorite was this week. Tell us. Tweet us. Facebook us. I don't care. Whatever. So now we're gonna talk about Spider-Man. But not the Spider-Man you want to talk about. This is the animated Spider-Man movie that's still happening. They have cast Miles Morales, the voice actor for Miles Morales, was Shameik Moore, who made his name starting in the indie flick Dope, and Netflix's The Get Down. So if you're big into The Get Down, I know, again, friend of the show, Quentin Parker, big on the show, always recommends it every time we talk to him, it seems like. He will be voicing Miles in the film, so that's cool.
I mean, it's good news, but still, over here at the Superhero Slate, we just want to know if this movie is necessary. I think a lot of it comes down to is we just don't trust Sony. I mean, they can't just lean on those very first 2 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and like have us gain their trust. Like, they got to earn it back. So when they're kind of throwing out all these random animated Spider-Man movies that really just seem to only be made to make money and keep the license, obviously it makes me nervous. On the other side, maybe this creates this whole new animated universe, or for these like superhero movies, and maybe that's going to be really awesome. So, I mean, that's always kind of a challenge when you're making a superhero movie in live action, is you got to find a way to turn these kind of fantasy ideas into real life, which sometimes doesn't translate well. I mean, look at some of the DC properties. A lot of that stuff doesn't translate well when you try to go too serious with it. So maybe if you're kind of in this animated kind of Pixar, DreamWorks-esque landscape, it's just going to be a lot easier to throw these ideas down. So maybe whether this movie is good or not, maybe we'll get some like stuff out of like Marvel Studios that's animated. That could be kind of cool, Disney's awesome at making animated movies. Maybe they'll throw like another type of Big Hero 6 on the slate, I don't know if we necessarily need a sequel to that movie, but maybe we'll get another kind of deep cut comic book that's computer animated. But I mean, the casting's good, but I don't trust Sony, so I can't be excited.
Yeah, well, I guess that's okay, but they also got Liev Schrieber, known for X-Men Origins Wolverine as Sabretooth. Again, probably one of the best parts of that movie. And he's going to be voicing the villain. We don't know who that's going to be. If I was to judge by his looks, I would say maybe Craven, the Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think his voice does kind of match. I mean, kind of maybe even similar voice to what I remember in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. If my brain can even unlock any sort of audio sample from that far back. But yeah, I think that could work. I think Craven, it's kind of funny, like I just said, like you kind of, it's easier to bring fantastical elements to it animated, and they go to the most like grounded villain that you could put in a live action movie. So that's kind of strange. But I don't know, maybe we'll kind of get some other villains in there too. But Miles Morales, I mean, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'm just really conflicted.
Yeah, it's got ups and downs, and if I was to say anything, I'm like, why not Sony, Marvel, Disney team up and start cranking out high quality animated films direct to DVD and digital, like DC's doing. I mean, a lot people are eating those up, and Marvel's not doing them at all. Sure, they're putting out TV shows, but DC's going to put out some TV shows soon that matches and on the animated front. So I think crank out two of these a year, direct to thing, and Sony can have their Spider-Man ones. Doesn't affect us. Probably go right under our radar, but I think it'd be a great opportunity that they're missing out here. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. The Punisher Netflix show. We got 2 bits of news here, and I think the first one's probably my favorite. The first look at the geared up Frank Castle.
Yeah, man.
We get to see him with the iconic skull on, and it looks like either he's been shot in the chest a couple times on this armor plating. He's been beat up a little bit. He's looking worse for the wear, but by God, he's got his skull on finally.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's comfortable when he's beaten up. He seems to be at home when he's got a couple bruises. His face kind of reminds me of a little bit of a less beaten up version when he was fighting in the prison, which was a really awesome scene. So I'm excited to see how they can flesh him out into a whole series. Honestly, I would be lying if I would say I'm not a little nervous about the Netflix universe after watching Iron Fist, just because it failed so badly, in my personal opinion, that it was just such a drastic change. Like, it wasn't just a gradual decline in quality; it just plummeted. So hopefully that was just a fluke, and it's not going to happen again. Because a Punisher TV show. I never thought we were going to get that, especially after so many failed Punisher movies. So this is awesome, and I love what's his name again? That's playing Punisher.
John Bernthal.
Yeah, Bernthal. That's right. So I think he makes a great Punisher. I think we can both agree. We just want to see him use that big giant freaking gun that he stole.
He's got to use the machine gun. God, they better use it. They're gonna tease us with it all season, I bet.
Yeah, that's basically his superpower, is big giant gun. So I want to see that big giant gun. Damn it.
Yeah, that's right. So other than that, actually, the filming has wrapped on the Punisher, believe it or not. About the same time Defenders has. And we got our first poster, a wrap poster. Apparently, Marvel's CCO, Chief Creative Officer, Joe Quesada, who's known for doing art way back when, has been doing wrap posters. He's done one for the Defenders we saw a couple weeks ago, and now he's in a Punisher one. And it kind of shows the characters off here, and I can't make anything out very well, but I believe the guy underneath his chin, the Punisher's chin, might be Jigsaw or has something up with his face. And there's a lot going on here. A lot of characters. You can't make out a lot except the characters, but they look cool. I love the black and white. And we get to see Karen Page over on the left side.
Yeah, she's down there. Let's see. Some of these actors look familiar, so it'll be interesting to see how they weave into the plot. But I'm looking forward to some Frank Castle.
Yeah, aren't we all? I think it's going to be good. Also in the Netflix universe, Jessica Jones has started filming, so that means casting calls are underway. And some casting calls may reveal at least a character or 2 here. I'm not going to go through all these, but if you want to check our show notes out, you can read it here. There's one being called for Dr. Kirby, and now these are not exactly their names they would use in the show, because that's how casting works. But he's 60s, open ethnicity, scientist and free thinker, series regular. I believe he's also says 1-year deal, which I think he's not going to live past this first season, or the second season. But I believe it to be the character Dr. Carl Malice, who is responsible for developing that serum, or those pills that Nuke took, and giving Jessica her superpowers on the docket that she had at the beginning and into the season. So I think he is going to be related to that. Other than that, it kind of gets a little bit of iffy on who these other characters are, because a lot of them are new. But I think the next one might be a mercenary called Paladin, who doesn't have any superpowers but might be tied into the Nuke thing, because they're both kind of mercenaries, like military people with who come across superheroes. But other than that, I don't know anybody else.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they're going to go along with a plot line of maybe this organization that created Nuke, maybe they're going to try to recruit Jessica or something like that. Obviously they've seen her power demonstrated and how strong she is. Maybe they feel like they can recruit her, or maybe they think she's too dangerous and we got to take her out. So I'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, I think the same person who gave Nuke his pills is a doctor who gave Jessica her superpowers, through the notes she had. So I think they created her and they want to bring her back in. Probably, or recreate. Everyone wants to recreate the things that we did once before. That's how Captain America got started. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. It's worked out pretty well so far. And the last one actually is a very much a long shot, but could be the character Typhoid Mary from Daredevil, the Ingrid character. It's a long shot, but people are really rooting for that to be the character Typhoid Mary.
All right.
So I don't know. Jessica Jones is coming. They're filming season 2. I'm really looking forward to it. We need another show with a season 2 other than Daredevil, and I think Jessica Jones will be.
Yeah.
The
right are you not worried like at all about the Netflix universe? Any sort of trepidation there?
No, not really. I think honestly, if it has been a gradual decline in quality. Luke Cage is not a 9 out of 10. It's more like a 6 out of 10 if you look at the whole series. And I think maybe to me it feels like Iron Fist was rushed. It's a rush. We have to get this out to get to the Defenders, and they didn't really spend as much time building it up. They just kind of were like, okay, well, he's coming back from another country. This is a very convenient plot device where he doesn't have to know anything for about 3 episodes, and then he just does it. So I'm not really worried. I think they didn't know what to do with Iron Fist, and they just had to crank it out and get it done with. So I think going forward, we're still fine. They've got the Daredevil season 2 guys running the Defenders. The Punisher was a big hit in Daredevil, so I think they're going to run with that and do well. And even more, Jessica Jones, same showrunner. I think they're going to deliver more good stuff. So
well, Chris, that's why I keep you around, because you talk me off ledges.
Yes, please stay away from that. You can't fly. You can't fly, Mike. No matter how many times I tell you, you can't fly.
But I mean, all I have to say is I don't think you're going to be able to talk me off the Arrow ledge. That's for sure.
Oh, well, that's okay because nobody likes Arrow. If you'd like Arrow, I'm sorry. Not sorry. However, we have news for Arrow. That's why Mike brought it up, because he's clever like that. And in this season, what are we in? 5 now? Season 5?
It doesn't matter.
Because this is the end this is at the end, he can't do any more flashbacks because he'll technically be off the island if he flashes back 5 years.
He's been off the island for a while. He's gone to Russia. He was in China. None of it made any sense.
Yeah, well, they're bringing back the actor Manu Bennett as Deathstroke at the end of the season, and possibly next season as the villain again. So
they're probably trying to rescue the show at this point, because that's the last time I remember the show being any good, is when Deathstroke kind of came to what city is he
Star
in?
City now.
Star City, or whatever city he's in. So that was kind of entertaining, but yeah, I quit the show. I quit watching it. I broke up with it. Maybe about the mid-season of this current season. So I'm not going back. I don't think this is enough to get me to go back. So
I don't think it's enough for me to go back either. But I mean, any of these shows should probably end after 5 seasons. To me, 5 years is a great run for a comic book TV show. Otherwise, you're going to delve into Smallville territory, and nobody wants Smallville territory. But in these last episodes of the season, things are doing. Supergirl is bringing back Superman at the end of season 2 here.
Not surprising. It sounds like 2 shows reaching back to when things worked.
Yeah, reaching back to things people really, really like to have in the show. I can't knock Supergirl too much. I haven't watched enough of it to care. But, if you have the opportunity to use Superman, why not use him, right?
Yeah.
Don't be stingy with your Superman.
Yeah, I can't really judge Supergirl just because it's a show I'm not watching, so I'm not going to judge it if I'm not watching it. But the attempts that the CW has made to get me to watch it have not been very effective, because they've been, trying to cross her over into the Flash universe, and the last time I saw her was in the atrocious Flash musical episode, which is just bad on so many levels. I don't understand why TV shows think they need musical episodes. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even fit the theme of the show. It's a superhero show. No reason for it to be a musical. It just was executed badly. So that's the last time I saw Supergirl, and it was dumb. So, good luck, Supergirl.
Yeah, they did. They tried to pull this over with the 4 TV show crossover event, and the last 2 minutes were the crossover for Supergirl. So they're pulling wool over your eyes, Mike. Stay away from that. However, they have sadly been renewed for next year already, so we can't do too much on that. But next year, we got some other superhero TV shows to contend with, Mike. If you didn't know, Black Lightning, we had our first look at Cress Williams as the main character, and I didn't link it here, so I apologize. But he looks a lot like Black Bolt. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. But
we've talked about the show. We've talked about it when it was kind of rumored, and then when it was official. We've talked about the casting. We've seen some kind of random concept art of him for sure, but I don't think we've seen anything official live action yet.
So here's the official live action poster of Cress Williams as Black Lightning. He has a Black Bolt look. Like they literally ripped off Black Bolt. His outfit.
He does look Black Bolt with maybe souped up with a little bit more armor. The face mask is kind of strange. It's kind of like goggles. It's almost like a Robin mask or like a Nightwing mask with like goggle add-ons to it. I don't know. It has that kind of Legends of Tomorrow vibe to it when I look at it.
Yeah, well, he does because they used the background of Legends of Tomorrow. Here's some orange and here's some blue. So that's him as Black Lightning. Black Bolt, or whoever you want to call him. I don't care. But it's looking very positive to get a CW series order. Now, it may not be a full series order, but they're looking like, we're going to pick up Black Lightning and throw him in that Thursday night slot that we don't have filled just yet. So we may be watching Black Lightning. Check it out later this year. I just hope they can tell a unique story with it. I mean, the CW has been so successful with all of these shows, and they've told so many different types of origins. I think we just kind of need a new angle of what it's like to kind of be a superhero, so when he eventually crosses over, it's kind of exciting, I'm crossing my fingers. When the CW shows are good, I'm having an awesome time, but when they're bad, I'm having a horrible time. So I've had awesome times watching The Flash. I've had awesome times watching Arrow in the past, so hopefully I can have awesome times watching Black Lightning. Yes, hopefully they can keep up the money to keep up with all these shows that are looking like they're not getting cheap on their effects. So, knock on wood on that. Lastly, the X-Men TV show, not Legion, but the other one, Gifted, based in the X-Men movie universe, looks like it's also about to get a full series order as well. Wow. With the fall sweeps coming up here, I believe late April, early May, we'll know more in that range. We'll probably have a whole TV show episode coming up late May. But right now, it looks like Gifted is on its way to hitting Fox or FX this fall. So, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Well, wait and see. Wait and see. You know I'm not on good terms with Fox and Sony, so we'll see.
I know. It's so much that Sony blocked our whole video from the world. They heard Mike and they were just like, take your videos down. That's okay because Fox does give us good things, Mike, and you gotta forgive them sometimes because they're gonna give us Deadpool 2 and probably the most surprise casting announcement this week. Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos in Avengers Infinity War Marvel, is Cable as well in Deadpool 2.
Wow, I mean, surprising. This was the biggest news of the week for about 5 minutes until all of these trailers came out. I mean, I was shocked when I saw it. It was just such a strange. I think it's good casting. I like the casting. Yes. It's just strange because he's so integral to the MCU right now. Obviously, he will come to pass because I think they will eventually defeat Thanos. Hopefully, save the world, save the galaxy, save the universe. But I guess Josh Brolin still needs superhero work after that. But I always like seeing him move around in the superhero universe. I think I said back in the past before the Batman was cast. With Ben Affleck, I thought Josh Brolin could have played an awesome older Bruce Wayne. So maybe one day, maybe they'll make a Batman Beyond movie one day, and he'll get to play Bruce Wayne again, maybe when he's a little bit older. But I love Josh Brolin. He's so intense. He's got such a crazy like a badass face to him, which is kind of awesome to have when you're an actor that you can just like look at someone and be like, I'm badass. Look at me. So I think he'll make a cool Cable.
I think he's going to be a great Cable as well. I don't think this is going to affect his Marvel contract whatsoever because he probably went to them first. That Marvel paycheck's probably a little bigger than that Fox paycheck if I was a betting man. However, his Avengers work is pure motion capture. Yeah. It is minor, his likeness, but it is not him. And then Cable will probably have some techno-organic virus up his face as well. So he'll be adding some prosthetics on his there, which reminds me that Josh Brolin has come from a very, very, very bad superhero comic book movie. If you remember Jonah Hex from 2010.
He looked badass. I mean, I can't say anything for the quality of the movie because I didn't get around to seeing it, and I think there's a good reason why I didn't see it, but he still looks badass if you Google him up as Jonah Hex.
It was a bad movie, and it also has Michael Fassbender and Will Arnett. Fassbender does great Magnetos, does great stuff. He's the reason Mike wants to watch Alien movies again.
Yeah, and Will Arnett does a great Lego Batman.
He does, and there's also Megan Fox, who is in a horrible series, which we're going to talk about later. But I mean, there's just a lot going. Josh Brolin has come from the bottom of the barrel of superhero movies, and is now the most in-demand superhero.
Yeah, he is the cream at the top. I mean, it's a good deal for him because I mean, I think Cable's probably at least a 3-movie deal. You're talking Deadpool 2, maybe Deadpool 3, definitely X-Force. There could be maybe if he's not in Deadpool 3, there's probably maybe going to be a sequel to X-Force. You know, Fox has got to hang on to what's working for him. You know, so I think we're going to be seeing Josh Brolin as Cable for a little while.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see some workup of. I know we're a little far off, but I want to see him as Cable. I want to see him in what is he? Is he a time traveler? Yeah. We don't even know if he's gonna match his comic book counterpart. Which, if they don't, people are gonna riot. But
yeah, I mean, to be honest, to speak the truth, I think we tried to pretend that we were excited that maybe Pierce Brosnan would be Cable. I think we just tried to find it in our hearts because he was kind of our Bond growing up because we were at the right age where like we didn't really care what was happening in a Bond movie. We just thought like spy movies were cool when we were kids. So I think Pierce Brosnan was our Bond. So we're like, oh, maybe he'll be a cool Cable. But now that I think about it, Josh Brolin, he's gonna be a way better Cable than Pierce Brosnan was.
I was all for Brad Pitt if I could be honest. But you know what? This a suitable replacement if they couldn't get Pitt. So we're gonna take it. We're gonna roll with it. We got some good news this week, Mike. Man, I'm all hyped. I love this next bit of news. This week, we watched Kingsman before we went to sleep, and we have Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Our first look at some of the cast and crew, including the Statesman, and that includes Channing Tatum and Halle Berry and Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is looking old. If I was a Batman,
he almost looks like a different person when he doesn't have his facial hair on. Like, honestly, if you scroll by his picture, you're just gonna think maybe he's just some actor you may have seen him before. But you kind of need Jeff Bridges to have either some sort of 5 o'clock shadow or a mustache or something. He just looks like a totally different person, which maybe it's gonna work out well for the movie. But yeah, these screen caps are pretty cool.
He's dressed like a Southern gentleman. It might have himself a nice Southern drawl while he's drinking his whiskey here. But he does look like his brother, Beau Bridges, the actor, very much so, rather than Jeff Bridges. Halle Berry looks like an airline hostess with some peculiar haircut, at least to say for Halle Berry. And Channing Tatum in a denim jacket and cowboy hat with those horn-rimmed glasses, buddy. What do you think about that?
He looks so badass. Like, it seems like all of these Secret Service people need some sort of iconic glasses. So I guess that's his. Obviously we never got Channing Tatum as Gambit like we were supposed to on any sort of quick timeline. So at least we get to see him now in the Golden Circle, which I think we agreed is probably going to be a better movie, whether that Gambit movie ever gets made. So, yeah, we were pleasantly surprised when Kingsman came out, 2 years ago? So, this is a must-see for us. We'll be doing a spoiler cast on this movie, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited for it. Really, again, the first one caught us by surprise. I think it was like the first month after we started doing the show, pretty much, when it came out. But that second image with Channing Tatum, I'm pretty sure that's Colin Firth, man, out of focus in the background.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of look like him. He's got the height.
He's got the height and the suit and the skinniness, so it could be a flashback again. But really hoping they bring him back and give us Colin Firth because he was so good in the first one, so good. So there's our Kingsman and Statesman. Aquaman got some casting this week as well, surprisingly, in the form of Dolph Lundgren. Known for his Expendables role. He was in Rocky, I believe, as the Russian, and he did a Punisher movie in 1990.
Dolph Lundgren, man. Well, if you want these underwater people to look intimidating, you need them to be as big as possible. And Dolph Lundgren, he's a big old dude, so that's cool. I think, actually, speaking of the actor Dolph Lundgren, I think he's like really smart or something. I believe he has like a PhD or some sort of physicist background. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up, but as I think you're guessing here is maybe he's a villain. I could see that. You need big scary people for Aquaman to fight.
Yes, so that would be like the third villain. This thing's because we have Black Manta, Ocean Master, and now he's playing King Nereus. King Nereus is actually the ruler of another kingdom underwater called Xebel, Xebel, like rebel, but Xebel. And that's where Mera and her twin sister Siren come from in the comic books. So he's always like had a thing for Mera, which is weird. That's why he always fought Aquaman. So I don't know if they're gonna go that weird or if he's just gonna be there for a little bit. I don't know, but he's an underwater king. So I don't know. I'm excited. They're moving along. Again, it was pushed back to December of next year, but I'm I'm excited for Aquaman.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
There's a chance that we might get a teaser trailer for this movie when the Justice League drops. Just because Warner Brothers has been pretty liberal with bringing out these teaser trailers really early. We got that Comic-Con first look at Justice League like a year and a half before the movie even came out. So maybe we'll get some stuff Aquaman later in the year. At the end of the year.
Maybe San Diego might have another little preview.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if they wanted to stick to their kind of their release schedule. I mean, yeah. Warner
what
Brothers,
else are they going to give us?
Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers, they got to go hard at Comic-Con for sure. I mean, if they want to compete with Disney's Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a lot next year, like we've been mentioning. Yeah. So they've got to bring a lot to the table to really get people pumped.
I mean, but Warner Brothers does have one other big franchise that they can kind of count on.
That's right, and that they have another announcement for this week with Harry Potter World and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2. We don't have a title for it yet, but please, God, change the title. Make it smaller. Jude Law has been cast as young Albus Dumbledore, probably one of the biggest figures of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, so I think it's just funny that they double down on the fact that they say these are not prequel movies, and it's like, it's pretty obvious you're making prequel movies here.
Yeah, you might be leading to a different war, but these are characters we've all heard of before.
Yeah,
and things. But Jude Law, I think he's not young anymore. I mean, Jude Law's like 40s, so I think Dumbledore, however old he was in those movies, I think he'll be fine. I don't see any issues here.
Yeah, well, honestly, I would probably just need to ask my wife to get the specific chronological order of events, but I was under the impression that Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies was like a really old, like maybe a couple 100 years old. I don't think he was like millennia or anything like that, but I thought maybe he was like 200 or 300 years old. So I was trying to count back in time to the Harry Potter movies, I think those took place in like the 90s. So Fantastic Beasts, that was the 40s, 30s, 50s, somewhere in that.
It was very much like 30s, a very dapper.
Yeah, so I'm trying to count back 50 years. So how do you age 50 years off of Dumbledore? What does he look like if he's like 500 years old? So I don't know. So I guess this is the answer. It's Jude Law.
So, I mean, if Mike had just done a quick wiki search, he'd have found out that Dumbledore was only like 116 when he died.
Okay. Sorry.
Born in 1881, so he would have been 40 to 50 when he was in this era anyway. And if he's supposedly looks younger than he is because of magic and wizards and
all right, well, I'll concede. Okay,
good. I mean, I wasn't gonna argue with you. It's facts, it's facts, man. So that's it. That's what Warner Brothers is bringing to the table, possibly. But that's some new casting now. So now we're gonna end. What?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm going to end on 3 trailers. We got 3 more trailers to talk about. We started with trailers, we're going to end with trailers. And we're going to start with Mike's favorite trailer. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is not Mike's favorite trailer, but it is a movie that we can't avoid. Transformers 5, The Last Night, the final trailer, has hit this week. And it's got a lot of old Arthur mythology going on in this trailer. We're not going to break it down too much, but by God, there's a round table, and there are Autobots around this round table. Optimus has been tied up by some little person in space.
A whole lot of stuff. Just a whole lot of stuff. And it makes me worried that it's going to be like the last movie that was 8 hours long. And I was like, is this over yet? That's how I felt when I was watching this trailer. I just kind of zoned out for a second, and I looked back down. I was like, oh, it's been 5 minutes. This trailer has to be over. Nope, it was halfway done, and it's only a 2.5 minute trailer. So
there's a lot going on here. Anthony Hopkins recently said that Michael Bay was a savant, and I'm I think Anthony Hopkins has lost any credibility at this point by saying that. But there is a lot. This trailer is probably the one that has excited me the most for this, because I think they're trying to at least build mythos a little bit more, because they had the writer group who wrote this rather than just Michael Bay writing it, and because he would just write action, action, action. And while there looks to be a lot of action, 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 I mean, it seems to be building on Transformer mythology. Like I was saying, when Optimus Prime is chained out, there's a little old lady robot coming up to him, and she has these tentacles out the back. They're traits of what are called quintessence, an ancient race who helped spawn the Transformers and all that stuff. But overall, I I don't know. I don't know what to help. Is Bumblebee dying, or is he gonna die?
The biggest question is, do we care? Do we care if any of the Autobots die?
Yeah, I think you saw this. I did see Optimus Prime cut down like 6 robots with one sword swipe, though. So we're gonna see some robot sword fights. I feel it's gonna be too long. I'm gonna watch it. I know you're not going to. I'm going to watch it.
I mean, honestly, if Hollywood could do anything for us, is just give us the Transformers Fast and Furious crossover that we want and that we need. Just put these big dumb movies side by side, mash them together, and just give me the $2 billion movie that I want to see.
Yep. Well, you know what it would be about, Mike?
What?
Family. It'd be about family. That's
family and cars. Family and
cars.
That's
right. We're racing these robot cars because we both have families we're worried about. They should totally do that by the time they run out of ideas for Fast and the Furious. I was trying to figure out earlier how are they going to fit 9 in the title of Fast and the Furious 9 because they got Fate of the Furious. It's like
9 of the Furious, 9 Fast 9, 99 miles per fast, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was like, maybe they're going to go to Germany and tie it in that way.
They'll do a prequel back to when all of their grandparents were driving around in like these old cars.
Old beaters in World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Stop it. Okay, anyway. Transformers, we get the last trailer, the final trailer, they say. So if you want to avoid spoilers, don't watch anything else. But I don't know. Who's going to watch it? Let me know if you're going to watch it.
You can tell we're flabbergasted over here.
We are flabbergasted. However, the next trailer was probably my favorite of these last 3 trailers. And that's because it's the history. What if Deadpool and Nick Fury teamed up? and it's called The Hitman's Bodyguard because Nick Fury plays a hitman, the world's #1 hitman, and Ryan Reynolds has been cast as his bodyguard. And the shenanigans they're going to get into.
Shenanigans. That is the best way to describe this trailer. They get into so many shenanigans.
And this is definitely a red band trailer, I feel, because Ryan Reynolds at one point says, he has ruined the phrase motherfucker for me. And I think they're just playing into their strengths at this point. Like, Samuel Jackson yells and cusses, and Ryan Reynolds is like, what the hell's going on here? And insults people. So
yeah.
and I was really excited about this.
Yeah, and talk about another trailer with an awesome music choice is they play Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You throughout the trailer, which is just hilarious. It's just great. This seems like it's going to be an awesome action comedy. It seems like one of those movies that was written out of love. Like someone had this idea of like, oh, what if a hitman had a bodyguard? They wrote it. It's just been sitting in their desk for years, just waiting for it to finally get made. You know, he's probably been to meetings all over town. They want to make it, but they didn't want to make it. And then Ryan Reynolds and then Samuel L. Jackson come along. It's just like a perfect marriage. And I feel like this is just going to be someone's like heart and soul poured out on the screen. And it looks like it's going to be amazing. I mean, the trailer looks awesome. I mean, I think this is, out of all the trailers we saw today, this was the biggest surprise because I didn't even know this movie was getting made. I mean, how did it get as far as to a trailer premiere totally out of our radar? I mean, this looks awesome. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, I am really excited because to me, this is the fan fiction. What if Deadpool pre-transformation as a mercenary was hired to protect Nick Fury pre-Shield, and they just kind of go at it. So this is someone's Marvel fan fiction. They just turned into a movie, and they're like, we can't really use those names, so let's just change this here and here, and done.
Yeah, and I think the action's going to end up being great because I'm looking up here now with the director. It looks like his last credit was directing The Expendables 3, so he's not going to be any stranger to throwing some people around on like cables and stuff. So I think this will be really fun.
I think one of the best scenes was Ryan Reynolds talking to a hot dog vendor as like a car chase and destruction just goes on all around.
Yeah,
him.
he's ruining my life. I kind of hope he gets killed.
Yeah, it's a good one. So you guys check out that trailer. I think that's high on our recommend list out of
these. It looks like it's going to be coming out mid-August, so kind of right at the tail end of summer, which is kind of where these movies end up landing. So, you know, the beginning of the summer is kind of for those big tentpole movies. This one I think is going to be an awesome addition. I kind of get that, what was that Russell Crowe movie that came out last year?
The Nice Guys?
Yeah, The Nice Guys. I kind of get that vibe a little bit with it, so but a lot more action.
Yeah, I think we need a good August movie. So this one and then Kingsman in September. I think we got a good movie at least once a month here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, check out the Hitman's Bodyguard trailer in our show notes. Look it up. Definitely not safe for work, for language purposes, in case you're listening to this at work. Lastly, Mike sent this to me. We have a trailer for this movie based on a comic book called Atomic Blonde, and this is technically, I believe, the second trailer. But it's got a bunch of comic book people in it as well. I noticed here. It stars Fate of the Furious actress, Fury Road actress. What's her name? Help me out here.
Furiosa.
Right.
We're almost there.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, Chris, just keep making noises. I'm about to find our answer.
Yes. So Charlize Theron is this Atomic Blonde. This is set during the Cold War. It doesn't feel like it's set during the Cold War, but it's Cold War. It's based on a graphic novel called The Coldest City, and it stars a female spy. To me, I thought this was kind of like, when I watched the first trailer, it was like, oh, this is Salt, but with, Charlize Theron as the actress. Mm-hmm. But it actually has a bunch of people here. Charlize Theron. We got James McAvoy as like her sidekick contact or whatever. John Goodman as I believe another higher up agent. Sophia Boutella from Kingsman. She has the knife legs she's all over the place these days.
Oh, yeah.
She's in The Mummy as well. And Toby Jones, who is in Captain America and the Winter Soldier as the guy who puts himself in the computer. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But there's a lot going on here with this Atomic Blonde movie. What did you think, Mike? I mean, you sent me the link. You were the one who was intrigued the most by it.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is I watched it just out of context. I think maybe someone I follow retweeted the trailer, so I watched it. So it was kind of another one of those scenarios where I didn't know this movie was even getting made. And then as I was watching it, I was like, I'm kind of getting a little bit of a John Wick vibe here. I could kind of see maybe how this movie got made because of the popularity of John Wick. And then lo and behold, when I go look into the movie, when I look into the director's past, David Leitch. I don't know exactly how you say his name, but he's been a stunt coordinator basically his entire life. He's just been on all of these awesome action movies. So I think we're seeing a trend here of where these stunt coordinators are kind of coming out of the woodwork, and they're just like, hey, guess what? We can make awesome badass movies now. You saw John Wick. You saw how much money it made. Just give us a couple $1 million. Give us some people that aren't afraid to throw some punches around, and we're just going to make an awesome movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So this kind of looks like the female John Wick, maybe?
So he actually is a co-director of the first John Wick movie, believe it or not. And
that makes sense.
He is the director for Deadpool 2.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is going to be a good way to see how this guy kind of handles action properties. So, and it seems to be there's some humor in this trailer too, and we love Fury Road, we love Furiosa. So, I think there's a lot of good stuff working here. Now, I wasn't 100% sold on the trailer itself. If movies were traded like stocks and this was kind of our first impression of what the movie would be, I don't know if I would be buying it up and trying to plan for retirement, but I think maybe if I kind of go in with middle expectations, I think I could have a good time at this movie and maybe be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, this is like a sleeper hit. I think this is kind of I guess what Kingsman would be to people. Kingsman didn't get a lot of good press. And then when you saw it, word of mouth kind of spread it. So this looks like it could be a good word of mouth film. Mm-hmm. Which I also think is funny that Leitch, his second unit directing experience covers a lot of recent comic book movies, including The Wolverine, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, both of them, Mike. Jurassic World and Civil War. So he has done a lot of. He's put the work in.
Yeah.
As in all these movies as a second unit directors and stuntman. He was a stunt double for Brad Pitt. So I think you want actions, you want stunts, you want to see people kick ass, take names, and have a good time. Atomic Blonde with David Leitch, that's where you're going to go.
Yeah, and maybe I'm hoping this kind of starts a trend of kind of bringing kind of real action back to movies, not like that atrocity you see all over the internet of that 47 cut edit of Liam Neeson jumping over that fence in Taken 3, I think is what it was. So hopefully this is just in retaliation to that craziness. So. I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't know if I'll go out and see it opening weekend, but I think this is maybe a Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. showing that I just kind of roll into after waking up.
Let's see. I'm going to actually look up when's the release date on this? July 20th. This is a late July. Wow, they have a lot of faith to put it in July there. And it looks like Charlize Theron and Sophia Boutella are making out quite a bit here in some of these recaps. Mike, is that the real reason you're going to watch this?
I mean, I kind of forgot about that, but now when you said it, I think that is kind of burned in the back of my head a little bit.
If you like chicks making out in your movies, and then fight a little bit, probably, this is probably your movie. So there you go. Atomic Blonde, go check it out. Link in the trailer notes, or trailer in the show notes, whatever. I don't care. But that's our show for this week, Mike. Man, it has been good energy this week, Mike. Good energy. A lot of teamwork here.
I mean, we just had a lot of awesome stuff to talk about. I mean, we've been waiting for a lot of these things. I mean, we've been waiting for that Thor trailer. We've been desperately waiting for that Star Wars trailer. We got some surprise trailers popping up out of the woodwork. We were forced to talk about Transformers, which is unfortunate, but I think all in all, it was an awesome week, and hopefully you guys out there are subscribed, and you can just stay tuned every week for all this awesome news.
Yes, before we go, I do have to say next week I'm at C2E2. I will be at Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo from Friday till probably Friday, all day Friday and all day Saturday at least, maybe some Sunday. I don't know. I've got to get back and record my podcast with my good old buddy Mike here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to turn around and look. 3 big boxes full of comics I'm taking to give out. 2 boxes full of just random goodies I'm going to be giving out this year, and a bunch of other fun stuff that I'm just giving out. I'm just giving it away. I don't want it anymore. You guys can have it. Take it from me.
Nice. I love it, man.
So follow us on our social media. Probably Twitter might be where I'd be doing it. Posting pictures of where I am, what I'm wearing, Superhero Slate shirt, of course, and come find me and get some stuff. And this is to do with Comic UI, which I'm gonna start my stuff here. You can follow me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. And learn where I am and what I'm doing at C2E2. The interviews, I'm getting my picture with Stan Lee on Friday, Mike. Really excited. I'll be doing that at noon, so you won't even be up yet, probably. But no, I'm kidding. And then, I'll be there representing Comic UI as well as Superhero Slate, and really just getting down in the dirty and having a good time at the good old Comic-Con, Mike.
You're a busy man.
I love it. Love every minute of it. So, Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, since you're not going to C2E2, you have a bigger show to go to later this summer. But that's a different story. Where can people find you at?
Yeah, that's right. You can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. And yes, that is right. Eventually, once July rolls around, I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con on Friday and Saturday, the best days, in my opinion, to go. So I'm looking forward to that immensely. I always count down the days until I get to go, so I'm really excited. But, Chris, if people want to keep in touch with what you're doing at C2E2, I mean, come on, a picture of Stan Lee, who doesn't want to see that? So where can they find and follow that?
Well, I just told everybody, Mike. I did mine first, remember, but that's okay. You can find me on Valdan at Twitter, VALDAN. So find me there. I'll post a picture of me and Stanley live, and then follow us on Comic UI, and follow the Superhero Slate Twitter, because that's where I'm going to post everything this weekend. Again, C2E2, come find me. Let's hang out. Let's do some stuff and Comic Cons. Yeah, woo. Anyway. I hope if this is someone's first show listening to us, Mike, and they want to learn more about Superhero Slate, where can they find that set?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the places that we host our cute little show here, and you can find our show notes. So if you want to check out all these trailers that we talked about, you don't have to hunt the internet trying to find them. Sometimes it's like a pain in the ass to look up trailers on YouTube because everybody rips them and throws them up there and puts their own crap around them. We're going to link you to exactly what you want to see. So you can check that out at superheroslate.com, and you can subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. And if you want to pick up some Superhero Slate shirts, you can cop that at superheroslate.com/store. Maybe if you want to rep us at your local Comic-Con, we'd really love that. So if you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review, dropping us a comment, just letting us know if you like what we're doing. We really love that. And if you're a super fan of the show, like Jim is out there, if you want to be a Jim, everybody should be a Jim. What would Jim do? Just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week. And I'm seeing those notifications on Facebook. I'm seeing you guys out there sharing the show. I really love that.
Yeah, it's great. I love seeing it too. I like it when you guys interact and tell people on YouTube they're wrong and we were right, and give our show a thumbs up on that stuff. Yeah. So, so thanks for listening, guys. It was a great week. Tell us what you thought of the Thor trailer and Star Wars trailer, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Did that
Yeah,
Did you-
yeah, that came through. That's
God.
louder than your voice.
Oh god, it smells.